every morning with drive. Being on the grind, know I had to survive. We had to win. Started from the dirt and the rubble. I had to be the needle that was popping your bubble.
Hello and welcome into the Rookie Prospect Profile Series. This is a Zilla Fantasy Elite production. Today we're going to be looking at wide receiver Casey Washington within the rookie wide receiver machine learning models. Can Casey Washington go from late round draft pick to fantasy breakout star? Discover the outcome as our machine learning models provide the answers. All right, Casey Washington was drafted in the 6th round with pick number 187 overall by the Atlanta Falcons. Comes into the league at 6'1", 201 pounds. Played college football for the Illinois Fighting Illini. 39.5-inch vertical. Pretty solid broad jump at 127. So he's got a pretty good burst score there. No breakout age. Did some agility drills. And that's really about all we have in terms of his measurables here. He does have a hand size of 9, which we know is important for rookie wide receivers, and at 9 that's a little bit below average. So how's he going to look in the model? Let's dive into year 1. And as you may expect, as a 6th round draft pick, not super good numbers here. Mean of 3.01, median of 2.91, 34th and 33rd in the class respectively. I think Casey Washington is the 29th or 30th drafted wide receiver, so he's even a little bit below his draft pick here. And the maximum output, 38th, 6.49, one of the worst in the class. Well, let's go look at who hit these numbers in their first season in the NFL. All these players are hovering in between 2.9 and 3.1 fantasy points per game. Roger Lewis, DJ Chark, Tyler Johnson, Van Jefferson, Kyle Phillips, Travis Rudolph, Robert Herron, Quinton Patton, Dontia Dye, Brian Edwards, Taywan Taylor, Shelton Gibson, Miles White, Chad Hansen, Braxton Miller. Quite a few people hovering in that particular range, and nobody outside of DJ Chark and maybe Van Jefferson had any sort of fantasy relevance in their careers. Even that maximum output for him at 6.49 is not very good. We're looking in terms of names in that range. Henry Ruggs hit 6.47, Michael Gallup 6.4, Corey Davis, Geronimo Allison 6.3, a little bit above that. Trent Taylor at 6.5, Taylor Gabriel, Tajay Sharp, Keith Kirkwood, and Devin Funchess all at 6.6 fantasy points per game. It's not a super great rookie prospect profile here. Let's dive into year 2, see what that brings us. We do see a slight jump up in his mean and median, 4.18 and 4.03 respectively. The ranks increase a little bit as well, more in line with his draft choice. 30th and 31st overall. Maximum output at 10.10 is the 31st in the class. So kind of across the board, right about where you'd expect him in terms of his draft capital. Let's go take a peek at the people who would be around those particular values in their second season. We got quite a list here in between 3.8 and 4.2 in their second season. I'm just going to go from the bottom all the way up to the top from 3.8 to 4.2. Dante Pettis, Marlon Brown, Sky Moore, Javon Wims, Geronimo Allison, Maurice Harris, Michael Campanero, Keyshawn Johnson, Chad Williams, Braxton Miller, Trent Taylor, Trey Quinn, KJ Hamler, Demarcus Robinson, Damian Ratley, Taylor Gabriel, and Antonio Callaway. Not a super inspiring list there. Taylor Gabriel, Geronimo Allison did reach double-digit fantasy points per game, but I don't think they were doing that across an entire season, more in terms of a limited fantasy output. Let's get into that 10.10 maximum range. What wide receivers were hitting that in their rookie season? We got Jacoby Myers, 10.18, Brandon Ayuk, 10.02, Van Jefferson, we see again here, 9.89, Zay Jones and Robert Woods at 10.2, Romeo Doubs at 10.26. That's kind of if he hits a ceiling. I don't see that happening in year 1 or year 2. Still got Drake London there. Kirk Cousins, the tide that lifts all boats. He seems like he's pretty good at doing that, but with Kyle Pitts, Drake London at the Falcons facility at the moment, don't really see him hitting his ceiling. But do we see any interesting outputs here from Casey Washington heading into year 3? And yes, we do. We actually see what could be a late breakout profile here from Casey Washington. 7.31 mean and median, 13th ranked in the class. He's got the 6th best minimum and a maximum output of 12.73, which is the 26th best in the class. But the CV at 28.6, 9th best in this particular class for year 3. Interesting profile. Not very good in year 1 and year 2. We do see a late breakout from year 3. What will we see in year 4? Let's double check what the year 3 people look like, and then we'll dive into those year 4 values and see if we see a further jump up. So hovering in between 7 and 7.5 in year 3. We got Chase Claypool, Tutu Atwell, Chester Rogers, Van Jefferson, Marquess Wilson, Josh Dotson, Traquan Smith, Tyler Lockett, John Brown, and Bryce Butler, all between 7 and 7.6 fantasy points per game. So it's not too bad for his mean and median output in year 3, considering he's a 6th-round draft pick. It is saying, hey, he's got some sort of breakout potential here. The 12.73 maximum, not super good. One of those year 3 profiles that's high floor, low ceiling, according to the model. But let's go check in between about 12.5 to 13.5. What type of players do we have in there? Devin Funchess, Jordan Matthews, Calvin Benjamin, Allen Robinson, Geronimo Allison, Terry McLaurin, Jalen Strong, T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk, and Michael Pittman, all in their 3rd season and between 12.2 and 13.5 fantasy points per game. Again, that's if he hits a ceiling, and maybe, at this point, Kyle Pitts or Drake London had it out. Casey Washington, getting some additional action in year 3. We see this bump up tracks in terms of their current situation and what they might be going into in year 3. Let's check the year 4 output, see if we see any more improvement. And we don't really see any improvement. He does go down in mean and median, 5.38, 5.4, but he's still pretty solid in terms of the rank here, 18th and 17th overall. More, again, of the high floor, low ceiling type of profile where 17th ranked minimum, 26th ranked maximum, and we got some on the low end at 14 and 16. So seems like one of those high floor, lower ceilings, but could be semi-fantasy relevant on bye weeks or something coming into year 3 and year 4 for him, which is more than you can say for a lot of 6th-round draft choices. He's not going drafted in your rookie drafts at all. It's just monitor what he looks like in rookie camps and maybe throughout the first couple of years of his career, and potentially nab him up if it looks like he's going to get an opportunity. The CV is 9th best here in year 4 as well at 27.9. It's pretty confident in those results. Let's go look at those year 4 comparables in history. So hovering in between 5 and 6 fantasy points per game. Got a list of people here named Marcus Wheaton, Taylor Gabriel, Darnell Mooney, his current teammates, Cody Latimer, Nick Williams, Devontae Parker, Chris Conley, Jordan Matthews, Russell Shepard, Justin Hunter, Alex Erickson, Jerron Brown, and Quentin Patton. And then that maximum output, 10.94. You'd like to see a little better ceiling than that going into the league, but in between 10.3 and 11.6 fantasy points per game in their 4th season, we have Marquess Wilson. I believe we've seen him on this list before. Nelson Aguilar, Kenny Stills, Deontay Johnson, Marquise Lee, T. Higgins, and Russell Gage in their 4th seasons, all in between 10.3 and 11.6 fantasy points per game. So that's roughly in the range of Casey Washington's maximum output should he have all the cards fall his way. They're saying he's got about that type of ceiling in the machine learning model according to the last 11 draft classes and the historical outputs that you might see. All right, that's going to do it for today's rookie prospect profile on Casey Washington. This is presented by Zilla Fantasy Elite. Thanks for tuning in.